What is poppin'? What is going on, YouTube world? My name is Ghiman Mckinney, or you can just call me Juice because that is my nickname. I appreciate you guys for watching this video today. Be sure to smash this like button right about now, as it does help these videos get out to the public and the channel to grow overall. Subscribe to my channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly and almost every single day if I can, and turn on post notifications too, so you don't miss a single one of those videos that I post. It's only right, you guys. All right, let's talk about these Cleveland Browns. The abomination, the disappointment of the Cleveland Browns. Man, look, I was high on the Browns. I thought they were going to go 10-6. I thought they were going to win their division. I bought into Cleveland. I bought into the Cleveland Kool-Aid. But man, that Kool-Aid, man, it tastes bad because, listen, Cleveland has just been awful this year. They've been a mess. And I knew that Cleveland had a chance to miss the playoffs. I knew I was taking a risk by saying the Cleveland Browns will win the division over the Steelers and over the Ravens and over the Bengals. But I did not think the Cleveland Browns would be 2-6 halfway through the season. I just didn't see it. I mean, this team has been bad. And, you know, many people are asking, what happened? What is wrong with the Cleveland Browns? I'm here to tell you what I think the answer is for why I believe the Cleveland Browns have struggled this year, okay? And really, to me, it boils down to four things, okay? The Cleveland Browns have a terrible culture. Their head coach, Freddie Kitchens, has been bad this year. He's very inexperienced. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. And he has his team unprepared constantly. Their offensive line is atrocious. It's terrible. And their second-year quarterback, Baker Mayfield, has regressed majorly. Those are the four biggest issues for the Browns. Now, I want to kind of talk about all four of those things, but I want to look at a team like the Baltimore Ravens, because but listen, the Cleveland Browns this past week lost to someone named Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen, really? Oh my! A guy that was a backup quarterback that had never taken an NFL start. They lost to the Denver Broncos this week, who have been bad enough, and they lost to someone named Brandon Allen. And why did that happen? You know, and then the Baltimore Ravens did the exact opposite. They beat arguably a top 3 team and maybe the best team in football, the New England Patriots. And really, I think the Ravens are in first place, the Browns are in third place, okay? But listen, the thing that Cleveland can hang their hats on is the fact that Cincinnati has been worse than them. Cincinnati has been terrible. I told everyone the offseason that the Cincinnati Bengals had the worst record in football, and it's coming into fruition, okay? But I want to compare the Browns and the Ravens, because to me, I feel like the Browns can be what the Ravens are, but they're not. The Browns do not lack talent, okay? Talent is not the issue in Cleveland. You know, for years it was oh, the Browns stink. They have terrible players. No, the Browns have really, really good players. I see Pro Bowl type players all over. So I want to compare the Baltimore Ravens to the Cleveland Browns and tell you why I think the Baltimore Ravens are succeeding and why Cleveland is not. Because Cleveland and Baltimore, the difference is not, look, they're both talented teams. But one team in the Ravens and one franchise in the Ravens is getting the best out of their talent. I'll explain why. Okay, what do the Ravens have? A really, really good culture, okay? 16 of the last 24 years, they finished with a 500 record or better. What do the Cleveland Browns have? A bad culture. The Cleveland Browns have not had a winning culture in a long time. In the last 25 years, they have only 3 winning seasons, okay? When you look at teams like the Packers, the Seahawks, the Chiefs, the Rams, the Saints, the Patriots, they all have a good, solid, winning culture. That's what they have. When I look at teams that are bad, the Redskins, the Jets, the Dolphins, the Bengals, the Raiders, up until this year, the Raiders had a bad culture. Usually, if your football team is bad, if you have talent and your team is bad, it's the culture. And then it brings me to the coaching, okay? The Ravens have a really, really good head coach in John Harbaugh. His record is 110-74. And the Ravens are the 8th least penalized team in football. So they do not beat themselves. And when is the last time you've actually watched the Ravens play a game and you said, man, the Ravens were unprepared, man. They didn't even show up today. They didn't even get off the bus. Man, this year with Cleveland, I saw a game versus the Titans. I saw a game versus the Broncos. I saw a game versus the 49ers where this team didn't look prepared. Freddie Kitchens, look, he's a rookie head coach. We obviously know that. But I really felt, I was skeptical. I was in the middle with Freddie Kitchens because he did so well last year. Working with Baker Mayfield, I said, okay, this hire makes somewhat of sense. But usually when you hire a new head coach, the guy that's within is probably not the answer. And so far, Freddie Kitchens has not been the answer. This team is not disciplined. This team's not prepared week to week. The Cleveland Browns are the most penalized team in the NFL. That's coaching, play calling, play designing has been awful. The Cleveland Browns, I never know what the Browns are trying to accomplish offensively. They don't have an identity. They should be running the football with Nick Chubb a lot more, and they're not doing it for whatever reason. They're not getting the football to Odell Beckham Jr. enough, in my opinion. The play design has been awful. And the thing about Freddie Kitchens is, look, we honestly should have saw this coming, guys, because Freddie Kitchens, he was a coordinator for 1 year. And I really want people to think about this, okay? Because let's say that, look, I've been doing this YouTube channel for a year, okay? I've been talking sports, doing sports broadcasting for about a year, okay? Let's say a company just hires me. You know, I might be talented. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna make mistakes. Okay, I really am, because I've skipped steps. I haven't completed college courses yet. I would be skipping steps if I was just hired by ESPN right now to do a full-time show in place of someone on SportsCenter. I would have been skipping steps because I haven't even done an internship yet. I have yet to do an internship. And Freddie Kitchens was a coordinator for 1 year. He skipped steps. He skipped a lot of steps, okay? And it's fine. You know, look, I do root for Freddie Kitchens, but again, he's inexperienced. He's been a coordinator for 1 year. He clearly does not know what he's doing. So I feel bad for the guy, and I really think the Browns made a bad decision hiring Freddie Kitchens from within. Because, listen, it's not that he doesn't have promise, but he may have not been the right guy for Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield needs a head coach that has had multiple years of experience working with quarterbacks as an offensive coordinator for more than 1 year. It literally has been Baker Mayfield been trying to figure it out on his own. I don't think Freddie Kitchens can provide Baker Mayfield with the necessary feedback and the necessary coaching that he needs. And listen, guys, it's hard. It's one thing to be a coordinator. It's a whole other thing to manage a 53-man roster. Everyone has to be behind you as a head coach. So Freddie Kitchens, he's been a bad head coach. John Harbaugh, good head coach. The offensive line for the Cleveland Browns has been god-awful. They cannot block good teams up front. They just can't do it. They have the inability to block teams up front. They've been bad. They're really, really bad. They can't do simple things. They're missing assignments. They're missing blocks. Their protection is bad even when they have their assignments on point. It's just, they have one of the worst offensive lines in football. The Greg Zeitler trade was really, really a bad trade up to this point. They really could use Greg Zeitler right now. I really do think the Cleveland Browns should have went out in the trade deadline and tried to get an offensive lineman, because we don't quite know if Baker Mayfield yet is the true franchise quarterback. I think Baker Mayfield is the franchise quarterback. I think Cleveland fans think he's the franchise quarterback. But what has Baker Mayfield done this year to show you that he should be the franchise quarterback long term? I'm not giving up on Baker Mayfield. I'm not doing that. But what I'm saying is that you need to see what you have in Baker Mayfield, because Baker Mayfield has been awful this year. And I'll get to Baker Mayfield in a little bit. But again, when I look at the contending team, look, you can't have a bad offensive line and expect to compete. Look at all the Final Four teams last year. The Rams, the Saints, the Chiefs, the Patriots. Look at teams this year, the Packers, the 49ers. All of them have at least comparable to really good offensive lines, okay? The Houston Texans realized this really, really quickly. They realized, oh, we can't compete without giving Deshaun Watson an offensive line. Let's go trade for Laremy Tunsil. Let's draft some offensive linemen. Let's fix the worst offensive line in football. And what do you know? The Houston Texans, once again, are leading their division. So you got to fix the offensive line. And I really think the offensive line has affected the Cleveland Browns' play calling, because Nick Chubb has not been able to be there for checkdowns for Baker Mayfield, because he's constantly in there for pass protection. Because the offensive line is so bad, they've had to use running backs to block them. To block defenders, I should say. Not them, block defenders, okay? And it also does not allow them to fully utilize Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, and the great weapons they have. Because if you have a bad offensive line, it affects your ability to beat teams down the field vertically in the passing game. Because passing plays that go 50 yards down the field, it takes time for them to develop. And the Cleveland Browns do not even have time for those things to develop because the offensive line has been so bad. Baker Mayfield is on his back in like 2 or 3 seconds. It's not even funny. So the offensive line is terrible. The Baltimore Ravens, their offensive line is really, really good. They have one of the best offensive lines in the league. That's allowed them to have the number 1 scoring offense and the number 1 rushing offense, okay? So that's the thing with the Ravens. They have a better offensive line than the Browns. The Browns have a terrible offensive line. And lastly, the reason why the Ravens are leading the division and why Cleveland is behind the 8 ball is because their second-year quarterback has gotten better, and the Cleveland Browns' second-year quarterback, Baker Mayfield, has gotten worse. Baker Mayfield was talking and chirping a lot during the offseason, okay? Now, again, I'm not going to blame all this on Baker Mayfield. As again, his offensive line has been terrible. He's set to fail. He's had a bad head coach so far. The Odell Beckham Jr. has underwhelmed me. The offensive play design is not very good. He's constantly getting hit. So, wide receivers are dropping passes too. So, Baker Mayfield, he's not been set up to succeed quite like Lamar Jackson. But one thing about Baker Mayfield is, either way you want to slice it, the guy's been bad. He's been bad, okay? He went from last year completing 63.8% of his passes to 58.7%. Last year, 27 touchdowns, okay, in 14 games to only 14 interceptions. This year in 8 games, 7 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. And last year, he had a passer rating of 93. This year, a passer rating of 71. Whatever Baker Mayfield did in the offseason did not work. He didn't get better. He regressed. And again, part of it's the offensive line, part of it's the wide receivers dropping passes. But again, Baker Mayfield, when you watch him play, he's not been an accurate quarterback. He's missing wide receivers left and right. He's not going through his progressions properly. He's constantly running for his life and doesn't know how to handle pressure the right way, okay? So, Baker has regressed this year. In an offseason, he didn't get better. Whatever Baker did in the offseason, I'm sure he worked hard. I'm sure he worked out. But whatever he did, it wasn't enough. And he's taking a step back. And again, a side note, I don't want to go there, but I'm going to do it anyway. Baker Mayfield was in a lot of commercials in the offseason. He was in a lot of commercials. And I've been in commercials in the past, okay? It takes time to make a commercial. So, the time Baker Mayfield was probably making commercials, probably wasn't working out. Just saying. But either way, Lamar Jackson this year has developed himself from an okay average quarterback last year to an MVP candidate. Something Baker Mayfield should be, but he's not. And I feel bad for Baker. I really do. Because the Ravens, they have set up Lamar Jackson to really, really succeed. When I watch the Ravens game plans, they fit what Lamar Jackson does well. They fit what Lamar Jackson does well. And they don't do that for Baker. But either way you want to slice it, Lamar Jackson last year, 6 touchdowns and 3 interceptions in 7 games started, okay? This year, in only 8 games started, he has 12 touchdowns passing, 5 interceptions in 8 games, and his completion percentage went up 6 points. So he went from a 58% completion percentage last year to a 64% completion percentage. His pass rating also went up from 84 to 95. So that's why Cleveland is struggling. That's why teams like the Ravens, who are just as talented as them, are succeeding, and Cleveland's not. Bad culture leads to bad results. Bad coaching leads to bad results. Bad offensive line leads to bad results. And quarterback play that's bad is not going to get the job done on Sundays. Those are the issues with the Cleveland Browns. The Ravens do not have those issues. They have a great culture. They have a great head coach. They have a great offensive line. And they have a quarterback that's developed into an MVP candidate this year. That's why Cleveland is struggling. Cleveland has the talent. We know that. But you got to put the talent together. You got to establish a culture. You got to create great schemes and great game plans and prepare your team week to week. And the Cleveland Browns just haven't done that. They haven't. Freddie Kitchens has been a bum head coach so far. And I would not even be mad if Freddie Kitchens gets fired at the end of the year. Because this team has been They shouldn't be this bad. They should not be this bad. The offensive line is terrible. Baltimore's is really, really good. And lastly, one quarterback in the offseason got better, got stronger, and worked on his game. And another quarterback was doing commercials and not getting better and regressing. And it also does fall on Cleveland's shoulders because Cleveland, as an organization, has failed Baker Mayfield to this point. And the Ravens, they've been there with Lamar Jackson every step of the way. That's my thoughts on the Browns and why they struggled and why they're just not that good this year. Be sure to comment whether you agree with me and disagree with me. Love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video today. Be sure to smash this like button right now if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly and almost every single day if I can. A fun fact about me is I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world. I want to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. Kind of like Colin Cowherd, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp. You get the point. Okay, I want to do sports, television, and radio for a full living once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. So the best thing you guys can do to just help me continue to grow as a young broadcaster is to just share this channel with all your friends, because potentially if this channel really gets somewhere, I want to start my own network, okay? Or potentially if it doesn't, or if I fall a little bit short, I want to go into a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. So the best thing you guys can do to just flat out just help me grow as a broadcaster, help me learn, get other people hip to this channel, just share this channel with all your friends, share this channel on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, all that good stuff. Also, be sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. And once again, guys, just share this channel with everyone you know. Get everyone hipped and watching these videos. Get my voice out there and heard. Share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, all that good stuff. It's been your boy, Ghiman Mckinney, or you can just call me Juice. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in today. I really do. Have a God blessed day. Stay motivated, you guys, and I'm out.